Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 41 of the Glimmer Gang podcast. We have a lot of cards to talk about. It's our annual, or not annual, like set annual card chat that we're going to do. First one where we're actually able to see, we have a lot of cards to talk about here. 52, if we did the math right, which is a lot. There's been, uh, last week was kind of the website article release. This week has been content creator release, and we're still getting more cards. We're still have a lot left to go, and the set drops in just under 2 weeks actually from today, the time of recording. So it is very close, 14 days away. But before we get into that, we're gonna wrap up the talk about set champs and go over our set champs because we did win another stitch out of the three. Our but I did not win a stitch. I actually went 1-1 in my set champ last weekend, and then grew a migraine and had to leave. So that happened to me. Blake, how did it go for you?
0-4 for all of
Oof.
the events that I attended. But I will say for the last one, I did make top cut.
Good man, good
So
man.
I was almost there, but I lost my match in a Ruby Amethyst Mirror,
Ooh.
and I just didn't find my spell books in time to get ahead of them. And they were some very close matches. It could have gone to either one of us, and it was just luck of the draw, pretty much. So, no hard feelings there. They were some great matches, and for each event that I went to, I got higher and higher in the rankings.
There you go.
The one that I did on Saturday, I got 13th, whereas the one on the previous Sunday, I got 16th, and then finally I made top 8, and I was the second rate player going into top 8, so I was number 2 for a bit.
This sounds awfully like my first set champ, where I was the second seed going into top cut and then lost in top 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, next set. I guarantee you there's going to be set champs
Oh yeah.
for each set.
I would imagine, right? I mean, why
Mhm.
call them set championships if you're not going to continue it with every set
Yeah.
afterwards, you know?
Yeah, I believe Rochelle has confirmed on the main Loquan
She did,
Discord that
Oh, sweet.
they plan on doing it every set.
Yeah, because somebody
Yeah.
was like, next chapter, it would be great if we got another one. And she responded with, we call them sets, and there will be, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing to clarify. I think that it just hasn't been clarified. These are obviously set 1 was chapter 1, but that was just
Thematic,
chapter
you know,
It,
the
that was
beginning.
thematic.
it kind
Opening
of
it
stuck
up.
with people though, so I get it.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. But Sean, you did very well at your set champs. There it is.
Yes, I did. I was able to go to the one set champs that I had in my area. As you all know, I live in a very remote area in northern Michigan, don't have a lot of shops around me. Closest shop was an hour away. So I made the trip. Haven't made the trip before this. With my work schedule, my children, stuff like that, is just not feasible unless it's something like this, a bigger event like this. It's not feasible for me to drive all that way all the time. Even though I will admit the shop that I went to, which was House of Games in Cadillac, Michigan, the crew that they have there, a ton of really friendly players. They made me feel right at home. They kept asking me questions, and they asked me when I was going to come back. Like it felt very welcoming, and I was very, very happy about that because that's the kind of experience that you want to have when you go to a new shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty small shop, not a whole lot of players. I think it was 13 players, so we did 4 rounds, no top cut, and I took third place. I was 2% away from second, I believe.
Oof.
Yeah. But hey, I went
Hey.
to earn a stitch and I got it, and that's what's important.
You got your stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really funny to see how when you're looking at the market, and I know this is something we won't stay talking about. We're just going to mention it. The stitches are much more valuable than the mats, and the mats are much more like rare. But it does make sense. People want these cards. I think any card in a TCG is going to be just more valuable than any accessory, even if it was like sleeves that said champion on it. I mean, to be fair, the quality of the sleeves isn't the greatest, but I think just that the card is going to hold more value, and it's staying, and the value is still in the $700 to $800 right now for that
Yeah.
stitch, and I believe the mats are around 300 to 200. So yeah, set champs. Lorcana, this was just an amazing event for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So props to you, Ravensburger, for creating something that a lot of people loved. It was awesome to see just so many competitive events at once. And it really kind of got the hype up for the DLCs, which are coming in just a few weeks. 3 weeks from today is kind of the kickoff to Atlanta. And then we're just 5 weeks out from Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, that is when Set 4 is going to be legal for the first time. We have a lot of Set 4 cards to talk about, so we're going to jump in to our card chat. And the first one is Alma Madrigal, Matriarch of the Family, a 3-costed Uninkable in Amber, which we don't see very often. On 3 for 2 lore, Storyborn Mentor, Magical, all at the table. When you play this character, look at your deck. You may reveal a magical character card. Shuffle your deck and put the card on top of your deck. We're starting off with a banger
Tutors.
because this is the first tutor we see
Yeah, first true
in
tutor.
Lorcana. And if you don't know what tutor means, tutor is basically just you get to go and search for something specific in your deck. You get to make it a lot easier. It kind of takes away the randomization, that stuff. Obviously, some people are split on if it's good for the game or not for the game. I think this type of tutor works because you're going for one specific thing, and that is the madrigals. Obviously, we have seen they're a little under 20 cards that have the magical keywords, so you're gonna be able to find a lot of different things. We'll talk about other cards that are really good in the magical archetype. But Sean, thoughts on this card?
I love it. I do think that a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are worried about it. What you have to understand is this type of card is they've reined in the power, like you said, with it only being able to target
Mm-hmm.
madrigals, and it puts it to the top of your deck. Whereas a lot of the more powerful tutors from other TCGs will put cards directly into your
Yeah.
hand, which
Yeah.
it has that going for it. And if this game does ever see a singleton format, this card automatically becomes that much better
Oh
because
yeah.
instead of having a one of, you have a two of, whereas having an eight of, and a four of, like it's more impactful. Instead of having one of a couple of cards you might want, and you get that one card you need. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
besides that, I think it's great. Very thematic. I love it.
Blake, thoughts on our first tutor card in Lorcana?
Yeah, much the same. Uh, I liked how they reined it in, especially compared to the other games, like you said, Yu-Gi-Oh and
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon. It's you get to search for whatever this. It, Sometimes they'll do it by type, but like for Yu-Gi-Oh, you can search for any spell card. But your spell cards are such a wide variety. There's so much you can put in there,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it, there are some games, and I know for Pokemon, for the little bit I dipped my toes into it, at least with their online app, where there were just turns where my opponent would just be sitting there playing card after card, and each one would be them looking at their deck and
Yeah.
looking to see uh, all the cards that they need to get. And I ran a similar deck where it's like I play one of my Pokemon had an ability where I get to pull out two more electric type Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
and put them on my bench, and so on and so on. So like by turn one, my board was full of Pokemon, and
Yeah.
so this is
Yeah.
definitely way more toned down, and
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, and obviously, Pokemon, the game is known for tutors. That
Yeah,
basically is deck search. If you know your deck, then you need to know your deck because obviously you have your 6 prizes. So you don't know what those are. So if you can kind of determine what you need to get, if you're gonna be able to find that card in your deck, stuff like that, and that's where obviously tutors are interesting in Arcana because you have knowledge of everything you know unless like you're playing something that puts something in an inkwell face down, you don't see it. You really know you should have an idea of where everything is, whether it's in your hand, your ink, your discard, or on the field, or back
yeah.
still in your
Unless you
deck.
played a bunch of Mickey Mouse detectives or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
or watch
If
out
you're
the
playing
heads.
Sapphire, Amber, Ramp, Madrigal, then maybe not. But obviously, consistency still plays into parts of that. Uh, but Sean, next card we have, we're getting back on the Musketeer hype train.
It's true. It's true. And I do want to say, I think this might be the best Musketeer art we've seen so far. It's just fantastic, in my opinion. Our next card is Goofy, Musketeer Swordsman. He is a 3 strength 4 willpower, 4 cost, uninkable with 2 lore, and the ability on Garsh. Whenever you play a character with bodyguard, ready this character, he can't quest for the rest of this turn.
See, I haven't like with finals and stuff. I just had not like paid as full attention.
The
to all
name
these.
of the ability is an absolute win. Yeah, it's so good. It is so good.
Cool.
Yeah, so I definitely think if you're going for a bodyguard build, especially with some of the cheaper, easier to play bodyguards that might come down, not necessarily before this, but in addition to this, I think this could be a very solid card for a little bit of removal action. You know, he's probably just going to be challenging in since he can't quest, or you quest initially. Unexert him and then start challenging in to get rid of some of the stuff on your opponent's side of the board.
Yeah, obvious. Oh, go ahead, Blake.
Or just to protect them, just have them quest and restand. I also like that we're getting musketeers that are not bodyguards, because when everything's a bodyguard, nothing is a bodyguard.
It's true.
So having stuff that doesn't have that bodyguard keyword but works with them, that is starting to make this deck look a lot more cohesive. So I'm very interested to see what it brings.
If you play a 1-drop Lilo, though, and you have 4 bodyguards, that 1 Lilo is safe through 4 attacks.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but we got so much direct removal now, so...
It's true.
It's true. Grab your swords. Goodbye.
Dude.
But yeah, I like this Goofy. I think, like you said, it is cool to see musketeers that aren't bodyguard, but they still like work with bodyguards and all that, because through the other musketeers we've seen over the first few sets, all of them have bodyguards. So you play one of those down, this is getting readied back up and can either run into something or just stay safe. But we did get a second musketeer, and this one does have bodyguard. Blake, you want to take us through Minnie Mouse?
Yes, it is Minnie Mouse, Musketeer Champion. 5 cost, uninkable, 1/5 with bodyguard, as you said. 2 lore as well. But she also has the ability for dramatic entrance. When you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 5 strength or more. So pretty awesome. If you're on the draw, then after your opponent has played a Maui to take out one of your earlier musketeers, huzzah!
And then they play Medusa to get rid of Minnie the next turn.
And then it's also an amber still, so you can pair this with the Queen and use her ability to give something +4 attack, and as long as it had 1 strength to begin with, it's now big enough for Minnie to just pop off the board. Which is pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely an interesting card there. Sean, I will have to say this is my favorite Musketeer art out of all of them that we've gotten. You're muted, by the way.
I muted myself right before I started talking too. That's the worst part. She is not my favorite art, and I will tell you why. If you look close, it looks like she has like a really, really distinct unibrow because of the way they.
Oh my gosh!
Drew
now
her.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I
I saw that and I was like, well, that's unfortunate. Besides that great card, I just can't get past that.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Now that
now you ruined it for everyone.
I know, and I apologize to anyone out there in the community that's like, wait, no, and you go and look at the card, and you're like, well, that's a bummer.
All right. Well, I think on that note, any last thoughts on our Musketeer friend Binny, or should we get back on the magical hype train?
Magical hype train.
Mirable Magical, a prophecy finder, storeborn hero magical, 2 cost and inkable in amber, 2/2, 1 lore, support. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, fun support. Obviously, this is going to be in the magical starter deck. This works well with all the magical stuff that we've seen. Just more pieces to that puzzle. In limited, I don't mind it, honestly. just because if you want to give, it's an easy, cheap common that you can find, and if you want to use support to give something else a little bit more strength, actually I don't mind that at all because 2 isn't bad. But then again, you're questing with it once and then it's probably being removed. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
you're a
support
Madrigal.
isn't terrible for draft. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
Sean, want to take us through our little lovable alien here?
Oh yeah. And our next card is going to be Stitch, Alien Dancer, I believe is the translation.
Yeah.
He is a 2-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, vanilla. I do think that this is another case of it's a solid vanilla with really, really good art.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel about him.
Yeah, and yet another shift target for Rockstar.
It's true. It's true.
Another shift.
Your nice new shiny set champs Rockstar.
Yeah.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll-
You guys
that-
can stop
once
rubbing
I
it
get
in our
home-
faces.
Once I get home, I'm just putting that on the wall, and it's never
There
leaving.
you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
But Blake, we have another vanilla to talk about. Actually, never mind. This is not a vanilla. This is actually
She's
an instant
not
card, I think.
vanilla. She is Ursula Vanessa. 2-cost inkable, 1/4 storyborn villain sorcerer with 1 lore and singer 4. We've seen this quite a few times now.
Mhm.
Sebastian, Miss
Minnie
Bianca
Mouse.
from last set.
Or was it Miss
But
Bianca? Who was
I
Minnie
will
Mouse?
say with that villain tag, she sits nicely in the amber amethyst villains deck potentially.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And gives that deck some singing power.
If you haven't watched our set 3 reveal, go watch it. Even though that was like
Yeah,
3 months ago.
Works with that queen very well. Yes. But yeah, other than that, solid card that we've seen a few times already.
Yeah, obviously, and as we get like farther and farther into the game, we're just going to see these cards reprinted in a way, just with a different character and stuff like that. Kind of how TCGs go.
Different color, yeah.
Different,
But
yeah.
that's like you said, it's the nature of the beast because you'll see things come out in our case in one ink
Mhm.
that don't necessarily make immediate sense in another ink, but eventually, like if you take Magic the Gathering, for example, they have the color pie, and all the different colors do things specifically their own way. And
Mhm.
sometimes they're the only color that can do it, but it'll bleed into the 2 colors next to it. There's
Yeah.
going to be there. We've already seen a lot of things very similar, where we have a main ink for certain things, and then a couple of side inks for that same mechanic. So
Yeah.
we're going to see that a lot in this game, I think.
And obviously, like the first example that comes to mind is like the Simba from set 1 with the bodyguard, and then we got Kita in set 3.
Perfect example. Absolutely.
So, obviously, lots of stuff to see, and like I said, this game's card pool is only going to grow, so we're going to see it more and more. But we're going to go back to Encanto. We're going to talk about Bruno's Return. This is the first action to talk about in Amber. A 2-costed uninkable. Return a character card from your discard to your hand, then remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. If it was inkable, yeah, I don't like it. I think it feels too slow for Amber in a way. But yeah, thoughts, Blake, on Bruno's Return?
Bringing something from discard can be pretty good if it's
Mhm.
depending on the type of deck that you're playing. Bringing it to hand doesn't feel as great unless it has a really good on play ability that you want to activate later. But doing 2 things for 2 ink though is pretty good because it's basically 1 to bring something back and 1 to heal 2 damage as well. So if you're getting both of those effects, you're getting some value. But whether those things are valuable enough to include in your deck, I think really depends on what kind of deck you're running.
Yeah, and obviously Amber has kind of had that healing archetype for a while now, and so it makes sense that this is in this ink. But then again, we mentioned earlier with how much steel damage is around, then it's just kind of hard to like say, is there going to be characters with damage on them to heal unless we're attacking and or challenging into something and that damage is there, then we play this to heal and bring something back and all that. So
Yeah.
Sean, I'll ask you thoughts on Bruno's return. Think we're going to be getting cards back from the Discord soon?
I just wish you could sing it. That's the only thing I would prefer about this one, because I think what's the other card that gets back from the discard? Isn't it
Part of your world?
Part of your world? Yeah,
Or
you
if
can
you-
sing that, which I think is one of the better parts of that card. So if this was singable, I would enjoy it quite a bit more. But like we always say, you know, that's not the only thing that matters, man. I do really think that this is kind of a cool way to represent this moment in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's a really great moment of the movie that, and honestly, as I think Encanto might be my favorite like new school Disney movie, and it's really cool to see this moment in here represented. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, obviously, the theme we've seen today has just been interesting. Is the amount of uninkables in Amber. I know this is a very like small selection of cards, but we have two more cards to talk about in Amber. Sean, you want to take us through this new item that we got?
Absolutely, I would love to. And we got to give a shout out to Rebecca from the Illuminary. She is the one that got to reveal this card, along with Mirabelle Madrigal that we talked about a little bit earlier. We have Miracle Candle, a 2-cost inkable item that has the ability Abuela's Gift. Banish this item. If you have 3 or more characters in play, gain 2 lore, and remove up to 2 damage from chosen location.
Aggro's favorite item.
Yeah. I definitely think that this could see probably a 2 of. I think I would be comfortable running this set. Maybe even a 3 of, since it's inkable. But the in aggro or any deck that goes wide, because you don't necessarily need it to be aggro to go wide. It just, that's the most prevalent. But yeah, that type of deck loves this card 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, it's like this can be a card that you slap down when you're needing just that 2 extra lore to win, and that's kind of where my mind goes with this. This is a card that can very easily win you games in a moment, and also I think it does. It comes to mind in like maybe like a Pride Lands deck, something like that, to keep that on the field longer.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I really like this card. Honestly, I think this can fit into a good amount of decks in Amber. Blake, thoughts on Miracle Candle?
Yeah, I just love how thematic it is, that it's getting the lore and removing damage from a chosen location, so representing healing the casita.
Yeah.
So, and just how thematic that is. And it's a beautiful art too. A little ominous because we got those scary black ink tendrils underneath it.
Well, it's Ursula up.
But the whole ability and everything is very nice. So I definitely see it at least a couple of in some aggro decks for sure.
Yeah. Well, we have one more card in Amber to talk about. This was revealed by our good friends at the Citizens of Lorcana podcast. Blake, you want to take us over this new location?
Oh man, did they have some cards to reveal?
They
but
did,
we'll get to those later.
Really good cards.
But for now, we'll go with the location that they got to reveal, which is Atlantica Concert Hall, 1-cost inkable with 6 willpower and 2 move cost. And the ability on this one is Underwater Acoustics. Characters count as having plus 2 cost to sing songs while here. So everyone has Singer 2 while they're there.
And this does stack with Singer as well, doesn't it? Does it not?
Yes, that was confirmed.
Yeah.
It
Fantastic.
That Ariel Singer 7 is singing 9-cost songs.
For
together.
real.
No one's going to have to be singing together.
Those sing together songs are looking a lot more...
To sing by myself.
maybe not a lot more, but a bit more playable.
Yeah.
With
Uh,
all of these boosts that we're getting to the singing level of all of our cards.
Right.
yeah, I mean, like the first thing that comes to mind is Ursula Deceiver of All.
Sure.
If you want to sing something
Yeah.
twice, uh, and there's a good amount of good songs, and we're going to talk about an Emerald song in a little bit that benefits well off of that. So Emerald Amber is not really a like Lemon Lime. It was around for a bit, like set one, set two,
More
hasn't
of a
really been.
discard thing, but
Yeah,
it's looking like it's got some couple other things that it can try to
hmm
do.
yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. I did kind of see this coming when Deceiver of All came out. So I do have like a little bit of an Amber Emerald singer shell that I have been working on. So this absolutely fits right into that.
Yeah.
no, there you go. Hey, and obviously one drop, two moves, so fairly cheap in that regard. I think it would be cool sooner or later to maybe get like an item that lets like reduces the move cost to a location.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but obviously that would be a more expensive item, I think.
Yeah.
Because
The
I mean,
only thing
even
I don't like about it is no passive lore on this one,
that is true. I
unfortunately.
think
Yes.
one passive
Yes.
Yeah.
lore on this would have been a lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, turn one, you play this down. Turn two, you're not moving anything there. Turn two, you're probably playing like a two drop or something. Turn three, you're playing the Ursula. And then turn four, you're moving it there and then singing whatever you want to sing
Honestly,
on five.
in my mind, this comes down on turn 4, and you just move it right to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Leave your
potentially.
Yeah.
earlier turns open
Yeah,
for like your Ursula's. I can never
the
remember what the little worm
Deceiver.
guys are. Just no, the one
Oh,
drop
Curse Merfolk.
Curse Merfolk. You play that
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
one. You know, you're building. You're kind of
Mm-hmm.
still building up to that Deceiver of All the same way you do already in Emerald Amethyst, and then this comes down on 4. You move her right there, and you guaranteed get that
Oh
double
yeah.
sting off of 5. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
There you go.
at that point, I think that this card is probably gone immediately after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't see this sitting, even though it doesn't gain you that extra lore. I don't see this sitting out
Yeah.
for more than that one
Yeah.
turn. They're
People
not going
don't.
to let you double sing a 5 again. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because the first time is going to hurt enough.
Yeah.
But then also it comes down to the thing is that do they have enough cards to take care of that and also take care of Ursula?
True.
Uh,
That's very true.
so
That's very true.
it's because I think they,
'Cause it might be more beneficial to take care of her now
yeah,
that you say that. Yeah.
yeah, because they take out that and unless you have another one down, but probably you really won't unless you like you yeah you really don't have an option to have another one down. So taking out the Ursula is probably a better option there, and then because that's not really gaining you anything, and so yeah, that's the all of the Amber cards we've gotten so far.
I will say though, there is not a single Amber or Emerald song that costs 5 or more right now.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Four is
there's
the highest. Maybe the new cards. I'm talking about from set
oh
one through
okay
three
yeah
and set 4. There might be. I'm not as familiar as you are.
yeah I don't yeah set four yeah set one to three set four we got the five like we don't talk about Bruno is what people were talking about with that
Good call.
uh
Good point. Good point.
is
You got me on that one. Got
will
me on that
probably
one.
Yeah.
be the biggest one that is sung there just because that card is really good for folks who don't know. It says return chosen character to their player's hand, then that player discards a card at random, so bouncing two characters and then making them discard two cards on top of that,
Not
that's
bad.
pretty disgusting. Uh, and
Especially if they
so,
don't have a very big hand. Like
oh yeah,
it's essentially making it removal at that point.
oh yeah, yeah, uh,
I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. Those are all of our amber cards. Like I said, we're gonna go on to a Floodborn in Amethyst. This is a Floodborn Bell, accomplished mystic, 5-costed inkable, 4/4 lore, Floodborn hero, princess sorcerer, shift 3. Enhanced healing. When you play this character, move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. Not bad turn 3 if you're able to shift this down. Uh, I can't for the life of me remember if we have a shift target for this yet. I definitely see us getting a shift target for this. And I don't mind this early, but then again, I it's interesting to see because like are we gonna have the damage counters actually move in the first place? Is the big question with how
Yeah.
much like things just don't stay on the board but damage a lot anymore.
Well, I'd see this being more of one of the Floodborns where we just play it out.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
necessarily worry about shifting, kind of like Cogsworth and even Giant Tink now. A lot of people don't even bother shifting her out
Yeah, just play it
anymore.
out.
Yeah. So,
I do like her with things like the Mother Gothel that comes in damaged, and if we see more stuff like that, absolutely, her value just goes up and up and up, But I don't know
yeah.
if it's there, like you said, unless you're doing it to yourself. It's really hard to guarantee damage on board, and even if you're doing it to yourself, it's still hard to guarantee that character's gonna survive. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
quick shout out to John T and Brandon from the Inkwell for
Yeah.
revealing this bad lady to us.
Yeah, beautiful art.
Yeah, that is a really good art. That and the Snow Sled Olaf are like my two favorite arts in all of Lorcana right now. That Snow Sled Olaf is so
It's adorable. I will give you that. It is absolutely adorable.
being an uncommon. I can collect as many as I want and
It's
not
true.
have to break the bank. And honestly, super rares aren't that expensive either, so I could probably collect a lot of the bells. But Sean, you want to take us over another Madrigal in Amethyst this time?
Absolutely. Our next card is going to be Camillo Madrigal, Prankster. He is a 4-cost, inkable, 2 strength, 5 willpower, with 1 lore and the ability Many Forms. At the start of your turn, you may choose one. This character gets +1 lore this turn, or this character gains Challenger +2 this turn. Very, very interesting, and I believe it might have been Jonty that brought this up. He's like, this might be one of the most forgotten abilities because it has to happen. It happens between your ready. It happens on your set step. So you're going to ready all your characters. You're going to forget to assign something to him, and you're going to draw and start moving on. The thing is with this is it's a you may ability, so it's not a guaranteed thing. So if your opponent misses the trigger, kind of
You
sucks
can't
for
go
them.
back.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't go back. So he just doesn't
Yeah.
have either if you forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but I do love the flavor of it.
Certainly, yes.
The art is awesome.
Choosing its form and getting an ability to fit the moment. So, and I do like one of them is getting extra lore.
Yes, yes, absolutely,
Nice.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, like a 4/5 on turn 5 in Amethyst is always welcome if because you play this turn 4, let it dry, and then you choose the next turn.
Sure.
4/5. That's
not terrible.
No,
not terrible.
Not bad at all. Yeah, Camilo Madrigal, another Madrigal. Just adds to that starter deck that we got. But we did get another Elsa. Blake, you want to take us to this one?
Yeah. We have Elsa Storm Chaser, a 3-cost uninkable 1/4 Storyborn Hero Queen Sorcerer with 1 lore and the ability Tempest. You exert her, and chosen character gains Challenger 2 and Rush this turn. So basically, whatever you get to play the turn after her will be coming in with Rush and an extra 2 strength, potentially.
Which is not bad at all. I like this a lot. I wish it was kind of inkable, but I mean, we can say that about any single card in this game. But yeah, I like this card. I think it could definitely see play in an Amethyst. I mean, like Ruby Amethyst, but Challenge Matters deck. If you want to like go the route with, I can't think of his name now. Whatever card that
Shere Khan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I could see something there. Couldn't remember that from the life of me. But yeah, I like this card a lot. Thoughts, guys?
The only downside with this one is it's so telegraphed. It's not an on-play ability or anything. So you play this out, your opponent sees its ability and is like, well, I'm just not going to quest this turn unless I absolutely need to. So next turn, or Elsa really won't be doing anything.
Hey, but, play a Pinocchio and play a 1-drop 2/2 and you're hitting for 4.
True. Yeah. But that's a bunch of extra cards there that you need.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a weird halfway point between like Crab and Fox. I feel like you might be able to find a spot for this. Maybe you see this in the same way you saw the uninkable Pinocchio that makes your opponent exert something. Maybe you see it in that, like a one of, just in case, to get that one last thing over the hurdle. But beyond that, I don't know. Like you said, like Blake said, too telegraphed. People you can see it coming and deal with it way before it can become a problem.
Yeah, and obviously the 4 strength for willpower is nice, but again, there's still ways to deal with that pretty easily. The next 2 cards, I'll just mention these real quick, is Flotsam and Jetsam, Ursula's Baby. These were our reveal cards for this set, so if you guys do want to see more of an in-depth breakdown on those, go check out the video that is on our channel right now. Thank you again to Disney Lorcana for letting us reveal those.
Shout out. You guys are awesome.
They are awesome. They're an amazing company. Making an amazing game. And this is an amazing card we're going to talk about next. Isabella Magical, Golden Child, 5-cost hit inkable, Storeborn Ally Magical, 3/4 for 1 lore, evasive, ladies first. During your turn, if no other character is quested this turn, this character gains +3 lore. Leave it to me whenever this character quests. Your other characters can't quest for the rest of this turn. This is essentially just a play it down when you're at 16. If you can't deal with it, game over. Again, there are so many ways to deal with this, which makes me weary. Like Ruby, if you play Medusa, this card's gone. And obviously, it is evasive, so it can't really be challenged, but there are other ways to remove it. Sean, thoughts on Isabella? I like this card a lot. I think it could see play, but you're the Amethyst player here.
Honestly, I love her. I think she's a fantastic card. She's definitely a contender for best Madrigal at this point. I do worry a little bit, like you said. I do worry her coming down so late, but you could mitigate that if you're, because if you're playing the Madrigals, it's Amethyst Amber anyway, so you're probably going to be playing ways to get your stuff out a little bit quicker, like lanterns and other things like that. So who knows? She could come down and start generating 4 lore a turn. 4 lore a turn off of one character is kind of crazy, even if you're only doing it one time. So,
and your other characters can also just then challenge as well.
True. Or whatever other abilities they may have, like you're
some stuff.
Exactly. So, yeah, I definitely, and like you said, the art's amazing too. The art is absolutely amazing on this. Like I said, contender for best magical card at this point. Magical character card, I will say. Yeah. Maybe not other ones.
Like you said, I think she's probably more of your finisher for the Magical decks. That you're getting up to that point where you're questing up to that point, and you play her along with something else to kind of help protect her a little bit. If you're playing Sapphire or anything like that, you could have like an Aurora out to protect her, or you can even use a Dime and get 8 lore.
It's true, because Dime sees that. Dime does see that as 4.
Yeah. So, and using the Dime isn't questing, so.
That might actually be the play now that you're talking about it. It might be Amethyst Sapphire, because you can ramp into both of them and get them down early, you know what I mean? So that might be the plan. I like that a lot.
Yeah. See, this is what I like about this game. Now we're getting so many more cards. There's so many more ink combos coming out of the woodworks that just weren't played before. But yeah, Isabel Magical, really fun card here. Definitely has an option to see play. Sean, you want to take us through the next card? Our favorite snowman monster friend.
I thought Olaf was your favorite snowman.
Snowman monster.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Is there any connection between? I've never seen Frozen. Is there any connection between the two?
They were both created by Elsa.
Yeah, they were both created by Elsa.
So I mean, they're kind of brothers, right?
In a way, yeah.
They're
siblings. Yeah,
they're siblings. Yeah. One's a lot bigger than the other.
True. Our next card we have is Marshmallow, Terrifying Snowman. He is a 3-cost uninkable, 0 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore with the ability Behemoth. This character gets +1 strength for each card in your hand, which
in Amethyst, this is great.
I'm just going to say the exact same thing. In Amethyst, we know how easy it is to have a handful of
Yep.
cards. So this potentially could come down and be a really good beater for this color. And he comes down early enough to where I don't think it's too terrible. I don't think people are going to be clamoring to try to remove this as quickly as you might think. People are gonna maybe not immediately think, oh, now I have to remember cards in hand of my opponent. Even though if you're playing, you should be trying to remember that anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is if as soon as you get above 4, Medusa's can't hit this in hand. Yep. So I like this card a lot. I said that about a few cards, but this card can be very strong in a deck that just loves to draw cards. So I like this in Emerald Amethyst a lot.
Yeah. This is pretty much a smaller Keeper of Secrets Jafar.
Oh, it's true. You're right. You're right. Good call.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, barely.
But yeah, coming down on 3, the only issue I see with this is turn 3. It's usually for Amethyst when you're wanting to sing friends and get that larger hand to catch back up. There isn't a lot of drawing that you're doing that early in the game.
Yeah. So turns 3 and 4 are kind of reserved for
3 and 4 is where you're playing your friends and stuff. That's the only conflict I see. But there's still plenty more cards to come out in the set. So we'll see if there's something that helps that along.
Turn 4, sing a song and draw 3 cards. Ooh. 4-cost song. That would be interesting. I doubt it, though. Marshmallow. Terrifying Snowman could definitely be a terrifying threat on a board. But back to the Magicals. Blake, want to take us through Peppa? I don't know what it really says.
Yep.
It's Peppa.
Peppa, okay.
Yep. Peppa Madrigal, Weather Maker, 5-cost uninkable 1/5 Storyborn Ally Madrigal with 1 lore. With the ability, it looks like rain. When you play this character, you may exert chosen opposing character. That character can't ready at the start of their next turn unless they're at a location. So it's kind of a smaller Spirit of Winter with a bit of a
caveat
condition on it, but I think that condition is easy enough to get around. That you're going to be able to get it off well enough.
I like this in limited in a way.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, limited for
locations. Sure. Obviously we haven't seen a lot of locations yet this set. I don't think we have seen a location that has 2 lore on it yet. At least I don't think. I could be wrong. But I like this in limited just because there's not going to be things at locations. Obviously, like you said, Blake, it's pretty easy to get around. And obviously, 5 strength is nothing to scoff at. You're going to get a few quests off with this and just be able to stop your opponent. So I like this in limited. Constructed, I don't know totally, but like I said, limited, this feels like a really good card.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to keep just plugging along. We are going to go to Peter Pan, Shadow Finder next. 3-cost and uninkable, 2/3 for 1 lore, Rush, Evasive, and a Fly, of course, for other characters with Evasive gain Rush. So if you want to build a fun Evasive deck and challenge everything the turn is played, you have your card.
It's true.
And Sean, where was this revealed again?
Hobbies and Happiness. Our good friends Dan and Jim over at Hobbies and Happiness revealed this. Great video, guys. You did a great job. Great card too. I like this card a lot.
Yeah, I will have to just throw a shout out to all content creators, the skits and stuff that are coming out.
Everybody pulled out all the stops for this set. You did great, every single one of you.
And obviously, you still have more to see.
It's true.
Recording Lorcana Villain still has his to go.
The Illumiteers are as of recording. They're at 6:00 tonight. So
and you'll see. You guys probably will see this before those are released. So watch out for those. Peter Pan Shadowfinder's thoughts on this, Sean? Obviously, we've seen this kind of rush evasive with Peter Pan a lot so far.
I love it though. I absolutely do. I like the characters with evasive gain rush, that could be a lot of fun. There's a lot of really fun evasive characters that would really, really benefit from having rush, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep in mind that rush kind of can keep you safe from the crackback in a lot of situations. So like you could have that chance to get a card, get a lead on your opponent with stuff like this. So I think it's great. Art's cool. It's very very thematic. And isn't this like basically the like partner card with the Peter Pan Shadow? Aren't they very similar?
It's the exact mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the abilities are flipped around, and the Shadow gives the rush characters evasive.
Oh, there you go. Peter Pan, Shadow Finder.
Yes.
Find that shadow.
Right.
We do have 2 more Amethyst cards to talk about. Sean, you want to take us over one of the most known, one of the most popular songs in Little Mermaid?
Absolutely. So our next card that we are going to talk about is Poor Unfortunate Souls. It is a 2-cost inkable song that says return a character, item, or location with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. I love this card. This card is fantastic, if you ask me.
Yeah. This one, if you think, okay, we're going to go through characters, aggro, does not like this. Items, Popsicle, those cheap items in Ruby Sapphire or Sapphire Steel don't like this. And then location, we don't see as many lower cost locations. Pride Lands, obviously, is probably the biggest target that comes to mind with this, and we've seen other lower cost locations in this set, like Atlantica.
Bayou, if they're trying to go for like the Sheriff Beast combo, stuff like that, for sure.
And this being singable is so much better too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%.
It helps this a lot. So
yeah, I just feel like this is a strictly better befuddle.
Yeah,
100%. And I was going to mention that too. I played Befuddle in my aggro deck for set champs, and I promise you, it does work. People, especially if I turn 1 or 2, turn 2, Befuddle feels good. Like you are putting that player back in a position where they can't afford to be behind. So I love this card for the exact same reasons, because it's easier to play and it hits more things. So fantastic all around.
Poor Unfortunate Souls.
This was revealed by a YouTuber from Italy. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to butcher her name.
Yeah. Obviously, I really like the art on this card. I will say this. This is really cool art.
Fantastic art.
We have one more card in Amethyst to talk about, Blake, and it's been kind of interesting how we've gone through, all 3 of us. We started with me for these inks, and then ended with Blake for the first 2 inks. Casa Madrigal. Tell us about it.
All right. So Casa Madrigal, Casita, 1 cost inkable, 6 willpower, and 1 move cost, and no passive lore, but the ability is our home at the start of your turn. If you have a character here, gain 1 lore.
So this could be a good target for Poor Unfortunate Souls, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This card is good.
This card especially, I like this a lot, again, in aggro, because especially your later turns, you will notice that you'll have a couple of, like, you'll have 1 or 2 ink that's just you don't want to, you either don't have the cards to play because you've ran out of fuel, or you don't want to overextend and do a Be Prepared or something, so you're going to have an ink or 2 left over. Perfect case for playing this and moving something to it. Yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And you never have to have more than 1 character here. A lot of people were like, oh, you just stack all your characters here and it gains you X amount of lore. No, it's 1 character, 1 lore. That's how this card works.
Yeah.
Which, in a deck that I think, obviously, there's a lot of these cards we've mentioned here fit into aggro. This fits into aggro really well, because you play this down and you play another 1-drop and then you move it there.
Yep. And just start gaining lore.
Yeah. Yep. And obviously, you just can keep moving them there over time.
Yeah, and pretty much every phase of the game for aggro, this feels good. I don't know about a lot of other. I guess at the same time, this could just be another use case of like Sorcerer's Spellbook, because Sorcerer's Spellbook sees play, and that's basically you spend a lore per turn to gain 1 lore. So, I don't know. I think this easily sees play.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Blake, thoughts on Casa Madrigal?
Yeah,
Huh?
I agree.
I,
You guys said it all.
we're gonna get that on a shirt for the next DLC. We're all
I agree.
I agree. next
I
next
agree.
card. Starting off with a bang in Emerald, we're going to talk about a new legendary. Hades, Foul Player, 4-costed, Inkable, Storeborn Villain Deity with 1 lore, 3/3. Get down to business. Exert, banish chosen character of yours, play another character from your hand with the same name.
Wild. that
Yeah.
is nuts. Do we have confirmation that it's just name, not subname, right?
I mean, it's just his name. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is. I mean,
So I guess the other one is considered classification.
Yeah.
I think that's how they word it.
Well, no, classifications are the like store.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. It is something other than name, though. I think so. I think it's just the big their main name.
It's the same wording that it is for shifting a character. Your character
Good call.
name.
Yep.
Yes.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
So yeah, this card it's wild because I think the example I saw the other day was like Tamatoa play Drab Little Crab, play the Exert, and then banish that, and then play Big Tamatoa.
Yep.
That by turn 5 is wild, and I think we'll see that with a lot of these higher costed cards. Goofy, there you go. That musket or whatever. Night for a day. You play like one of the cheaper Goofies that we have, and then banish it and throw that out. Have fun.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have a cheaper Goofy in Emerald or Steel.
Yeah.
Do we? The bodyguard's in Amber.
Yep, exactly.
Great
thought though, because that is going to keep happening here, and a lot of people are talking about if we get like a little Maleficent in Ruby or Emerald, you're dropping Dragon real fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
which I think obviously this was designed in. Like we're gonna get those sooner or later, but
sure.
It was designed to be in. I think this card was designed to run a lot. I would say just because this is one of the more powerful cards we've seen when you have those options.
I do love that they are continuing with the frame break
for legendaries
tradition. Yep, it's looking real great. This art is spectacular. I actually didn't zoom in on it and really take a good look until just now, but this art is phenomenal. The amount of detail in the background is kind of blowing me away right now.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and this is just one of those cards they're going to have to...
Hold on. The Megara to his right is not normal Meg.
Is it?
Nope.
Look at her clothing and look at the clothing of the Meg on the left.
You're right. Whoa, hold on. Huh.
Yeah.
Dreamborn or Floodborn Meg?
I mean, we have a Dreamborn one from set 1.
True.
I
Floodborn
don't
Meg,
think
then,
that outfit lines up just
right
with that one. Yeah, so maybe a new Meg card on the way.
That'd be cool.
But as I was about to say, this is one of those cards where they're going to have to be careful building future sets, because all of a sudden they'll be like, oh yeah, the Hades, we made this cheap version of this one card and this really awesome version of bigger version.
This is the Dreamborn Megara. It's the pulling the strings, the outfits line up. She's the one from set 1, but still pretty cool.
That is
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Cool connection there. Yeah. All right, so we have another Hey to talk about now. Sean, you want to take us through our clumsy friend? This card is not really that clumsy.
I just gotta say, I just love this chicken so much. Just the nonsense that he puts himself through, and just the look on his face. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a big Moana fan either, but correct me if I'm wrong, is Alan Tudyk the guy that voices Hey in the movie?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know that they have a guy, and he is like the animal guy.
You're right.
Yep, it's Alan Tudyk. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing in and of itself. I love that guy. So, next we have Hey, Clumsy Rooster. He is a 3-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower. with the 2 lore with the ability Let's Fatten You Up. When you play this character, if your opponent has more cards in their inkwell than you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. I like this card a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, Emerald has no ramp at all, I don't think. I don't think they've
this
had
is the
any way to
first
do it
Emerald
before.
ramp,
No.
I think. Yeah.
I love it. Really. And it's the Emerald way to do it too. Like, instead of like, fishbone quilling or something like that, this is very much the way to do it, in my opinion. And,
Do you have more to me? Let me catch
my
up.
gripe with this card is you're never going to, even if you're on the draw, you're never going to be playing this on curve, because if you're on the draw, you're going to be inking your third and they're already at 3.
Sure.
So that's the only gripe I have with this. The 2 lore is really nice as well, but to be honest, if you were able to play this on curve and still have it work, then yeah. But again, this feels just like a combatant to like.
As someone who played a lot of Emerald for set championships, and along with Jaunty, our biggest tip, and just comes naturally to us, just lose your dice rolls.
Yeah, just lose them. It's all right.
There you go. Well,
it just happens as an Emerald player. You're going to lose your dice roll, so you'll want to play hey.
And to be fair, Emerald Amethyst is pretty reactionary as a deck too. So
that's true. Yeah. I could see this thing play. I will say, you guys can yell at me in like a month or two when this wins a DLC for someone. If
I'm gonna put I'm gonna put a 1 of in my deck just to do it.
Yeah, me and Sean are gonna be playing in the Chicago finale, the championship, and then you're gonna pull
hey for the win.
I'm not gonna deal with it.
Even on curve, he has 2 lore.
That is
true. It's very true. He's still questioned for a decent amount.
Never scoff at 2 lore.
I can't believe how in the beginning how we were all like, "Oh, 2 lore's nothing." That's just and it's become like the standard of a good amount of lore.
Yeah.
Because it's like 3 lore. Oh crap, that's threatening. I need to get rid of that. But 2 lore, it's threatening, but also it's like
at the same time we're all like, eh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, Clumsy Rooster.
Oh yes.
I feel like we're gonna see one of these every set. We just have to.
Might, yeah. Definitely possible, sir.
Well, we have another Jasmine to talk about. Blake, want to take us over our favorite Aladdin princess?
Yep. Jasmine Desert Warrior, 5 cost uninkable hero Dreamborn princess with 2 lore, and the ability Smart Maneuver. When you play this character, and each time she is challenged, each opponent chooses and discards a card.
Better Lucifer this is a better Lucifer in my opinion.
Right. I mean, you could be right. You absolutely could be right. But I also think that the real magic with her is if you can stack her with some resist, she just becomes a problem.
Yeah, Emerald Steel resist with this is honestly could work really well. I definitely think that this being able to stack, if you're able to get, or you mean Emerald Sapphire. Yeah, I definitely could see this like working well with the Cogsworth and ward to it, and then also just being, or that is ward, and then adding resist. Emerald Sapphire has been played around with a little bit, I know, and obviously ramp getting this out earlier than maybe expected would be really good, and then just stacking a bunch of resist on it works well. Yeah, I do agree with that, Sean. Getting resist on this can work well, but I still I feel like Emerald has a lot of better options right now than this. But I feel like this would be a deck where this is kind of just built around this and not built around other things that Emerald is better at doing, like discarding or something like that. All right. Well, the next card we are going to talk about is Pegasus Cloud Racer. Floodborn ally, 5-costed inkable, 3/3 for 2 lore, shift 3, evasive, hop on. When you play this character, if you use shift to play him, your characters gain evasive to the start of your next turn. Wow, that is sexy.
Emerald.
You're not wrong.
That is. I mean,
this is a phenomenal card. Absolutely. Shout out to the to Katie and Becky at Live Laugh Lorcana. For getting to reveal this. I think you take the cake for the content creator reveals, ladies.
I would argue that, but we'll get to the card.
I think there's a card. There's a card we're gonna talk about, and a few more cards that may have overthrown that, but this is up there. This is really up
definitely up there. I love Pegasus. He's one of my favorite characters from Hercules. So when we got the baby Pegasus card earlier, I was going nuts. But this one is awesome. Does what Emerald wants to do. Just keeping your stuff out of reach and being really annoying. That's Emerald.
Yeah, that is Emerald in a nutshell. And obviously, we saw the Pegasus, the baby one. So this has a shift target, which obviously was designed like that. But it does have a built-in shift target already. No needing to wait for this to be good. This will be good once Emerald starts to do its shenanigans, where you just kind of say, "Okay, no, you're not going to really be able to do anything to me this turn." Obviously, it dies to smash. No. I just want to say that because it's a three strength.
There are plenty of great cards out there that die to smash that last. So I mean,
and plus, while he does die to smash, as long as you got him on board, you got your ability off for that turn. So your other stuff is still safe unless they're doing grab your swords or anything like that.
Yeah. Pegasus Cloud Racer definitely could see Emerald shenanigans with this card. We have a evil little guy, or real big guy, actually.
I'd say he's pretty big, isn't
he? Talk about, Sean, you want to take over this next Emerald card?
Absolutely, yeah. So our next Emerald card is Pete Rotten Guy. He is a 4-cost inkable, 1 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore vanilla. And that's about it.
Yeah. The one thing I notice here is that he is a musketeer.
Oh, that's true. Good call. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Obviously, it doesn't really work with the Emerald Steel Musketeer that we've gotten, but that is still interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Other than that, just
I'll be honest. This is the first time I've seen the card. This one somehow slipped by me.
Yeah,
it just came out today, I believe. As of recording, it was this morning. I believe it came out.
There you go.
Okay.
So you're not too far behind. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't feel it's bad.
All right. Well, we have another Prince Philip to talk about. Blake, you want to take us through this? You've seen Prince Philips in past sets. What are we going to do?
Prince Philip, Warden of the Woods, 4-cost uninkable, 3/4 with 2 lore, Dreamborn Hero and Prince, and the ability Shining Beacon. Your other hero characters gain ward.
We've seen the hero archetype is coming around.
It really is.
We're going to talk about a card a little later in the steel that buffs up heroes. That basically kind of making that deck work really well. And ward, it hasn't been the most talked about ability, but it is really annoying to deal with. We all see how annoying Cogsworth is, and I think once we start seeing more ward characters and like powerful ward characters come out, that keyword is going to become just devastating to some decks.
Yeah, it just suffers the same weakness as Aurora Dreaming Guardian, where he just dishes it out, but he doesn't have it himself. So we'll see.
It is funny that Prince Philip and Aurora are the two that have this. They're from the same movie, right?
I'm not making that up. That is her prince.
Yes.
What to say? Hold on. But yeah, Prince Philip, hero characters. We've seen that talked about for a while, and like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the next card we're going to talk about doesn't come from any Disney story. This is straight from the world of Lorcana.
It's true.
This is Hidden Inkcaster, an item in Emerald, 2-cost uninkable, fresh ink. When you play this item, draw a card, so Popsicle for Emerald. But it also has Unexpected Treasure. All cards in your hand count as having ink. And in Emerald, where a lot of cards don't have ink, this is crazy. And I've seen so many people say this is going to be bad, this is going to be good. There's a card like this in Magic that is banned. And so this card will see play, in my opinion, especially in Emerald.
What card are you referencing?
I could not tell you, but I saw something on Instagram or on Twitter that there was.
I've seen it mentioned multiple times. I believe John Teets even mentioned it, but he hasn't named the card, so I don't know what exactly.
I'm just trying to figure out what the analog is. Like, does it make all the cards in your hand lands?
I honestly don't really
probably
remember.
Something like that.
Something along those lines. It was something along these lines.
I got stumped for once. I usually know what we're referencing when it comes to Magic the Gathering stuff.
Magic players. So.
Yeah, weird.
Got him, boys.
got me.
Yeah, I like this card. This is really good. Sean, thoughts on Hidden Inkcaster?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. This is a fantastic card. This kind of just sews up the one major weakness that Emerald has had all along, is that all of the good cards are uninkable. So. Yeah, it's a great card, and I do like it for the fact that if you can get one down and stick it, it makes all the other ones inkable too. So like you don't feel like you have any wasted space in your deck. You know, I don't know how much higher the amount of inkables you're going to play gets. Probably a little bit higher, but I feel like this just makes your deck more consistent as opposed to allowing you to play something crazy like 45 uninkables or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah. I see it more for decks that have the problems of bricking, namely like Emerald Steel.
Yeah.
There's quite a few uninkables there with Grab Your Swords and Whole New Worlds.
Very true.
All of that.
You would ink a whole new world when you have like.
And I could also see Emerald Sapphire item deck coming into play with this, and this is one of those items that you just plop out and you don't mind having, and once you're gaining enough ink and you have your ink, you can pop it with Flowershim.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I really like this card. Obviously, it gives you Emerald another draw option as well, which it has good draw options, has strike a good match, and obviously it has other like abilities with the Bucky or Bucky is this card, but Prince John. I can see that going into that archetype a little bit, but this goes into really any Emerald deck that needs a little help on the ink side.
We forgot to give a shout out to Earl Meister. He's the one that previewed or revealed Warden of the Woods. So shout out Earl, great friend of the pod.
And also, Hidden Inkcaster, who did this one? I don't remember.
It's Citizens. They got this one.
Oh yeah,
too.
Right. Yep. They got this. They got Atlantica.
And they got one other, which we'll get to soon, I think.
Yeah. Sean, you want to take us over the final Emerald card we have?
Absolutely. So our next and final Emerald card is Vision Slab. It is a 3-cost inkable item that has 2 abilities. Its first ability is Danger Revealed. At the start of your turn, if an opposing character has damage, gain a lore. Its second ability is Trapped. Damage counters can't be removed. So this is very much like the Emerald version of what card am I trying to think of right now? Sorcerer's Spellbook. This is kind of the Emerald's answer to Sorcerer's Spellbook and Flute. So I love this card. I think it's going to see a decent amount of play. I don't know how much its second ability is going to come into play, but I think its first ability in and of itself, if you can even just 1 damage on one character, you know, because again, this is another one that doesn't go up with multiple characters. It's damage on a character, gain a lore. So I don't think it's going to be too hard to accomplish that, especially if you're pairing this with like Steel. So
ping deck.
100%.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. Like you said, Emerald's version of Spellbook. So, and then damage counters can't be removed. Gets rid of Rapunzel. Can't. Yeah. So a lot.
Just shut that down. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, all right. So we just went through a lot of cards, and we still have a lot of cards to go. And we're going to split this episode into 2 different parts. Actually, probably this will be episode 41. Next one will be episode 42. We're going to go through the Ruby and Steel cards that we've gotten over the past weeks. That will be out on Monday. So make sure you guys look out for that. Then, but we do want to say thank you. You guys want more content from the Glimmer Gang. Links will be down below. All of our personal links are also down below. But until Monday, Glimmer on.